Good morning. It is 7:05 on a Friday. We've reached the end of another particular week where we have lost an hour of sleep with the daylight savings time. I just wish they'd pick a time. I actually talked to a client this week who was able to remember when daylight savings time started. She said there just used to be a central standard time, like just standard time. And then they divided it and started this process. And so I thought that was very, very interesting to hear what she believed was the premise behind that. So it was really fun. But yeah, that hour of sleep, it matters. So I want you to take care of yourself, number one. Number two, just giving shout out to my favorite basketball team ever, the Lady Toppers of Western Kentucky University. My beautiful sisters. It's March Madness. It's a good day to put your TV on, have the basketball in the background, listening to the noise. So even if you're not a basketball fan, some of these games are really good down to the last minute. A couple of them were good last night. So just something else to get into. And what I want to get into today is talking about you can't build a new life with old patterns. And so I just want to invite y'all to come on in here to this safe and sacred space and take a breath and settle your spirit for a moment. Because today I want to talk about something that's been really sitting very heavy on my heart. And honestly, something that I'm walking through in this season of my life as well. And it's that you can't build a new life with old patterns. And so before we really get any deeper in this, last week we talked about being clear and careful about what you ask and what you pray for. And today, this topic's a little different, even though they connect. Last week was about intention. This week, it's about patterns. Because last week was about what you're asking for. This week is about what you're letting go of. Last week was preparing for the blessing. This week is about releasing those behaviors that block it. They're not the same message. They're two sides of the same transformation. And honestly, as I mentioned, I'm in this myself. I'm in that space where I've outgrown the old version of me. Several old versions of me. But the new version hasn't really settled in yet. So if you feel like that you're in your now what space, you're not alone. That's exactly why this topic matters. And so when I say I'm in that season, growth is evolutionary. We continuously grow. When you plant a seed, it starts out small, but it grows and it continues to grow. That should be the evolution of our life. That's transformation of our life. When we reach certain plateaus, we let go of old behaviors. And I've been blessed. I've been going through this process for a while, of letting go, transformation, sharing it with y'all, hoping and encouraging y'all to make that same transformation, that same growth for yourself. But as I let go of old patterns and I go to new levels, I realize some of those patterns are deeply embedded. And I really have to work harder as I elevate. It's like a plant going through, when you plant a seed, it has to burst through the dirt. And as it gets taller and taller, it has to go through more dirt to get rid of. And that's kind of sort of where a lot of us are in our lives, where it seems like I'm growing, now what? More challenges, more opportunities to learn. So let's get into it. Because a lot of us are praying for the new stuff. A lot of us are praying, asking for the new, wanting new. But if we're still operating from the same pattern that kept us sick, tired, and overlooked, a lot of us are still, even though we're praying for something new, we're still operating on those same belief systems that we're overlooked, we're not worthy, that I have to work twice as hard to get what's mine, or I have to worry about what somebody else is doing. I have to look and see what my competition is doing. That is a season that a lot of us get stuck in. Hey, Renee, happy Friday. Y'all know I love Renee, and I got a shout out for her at the end of the show. And so And I'm saying us on purpose because I feel like that too. And there just becomes a moment when you're, I'm sorry, I forgot to mute my phone. I forgot to mute it. So let me, oh, well, hold up. I'm sorry. Sorry. There comes a moment when you're just done. Done with the same conversation, done with the same amount of emotional labor, done with the same expectations, done with the same cycles. Have you ever been there? You're just done. You see the pattern coming. And you're like, I don't want to, I don't want to do this no more. This is, I recognize the pattern. And when you hit that point, it's not confusion. It's not failure. It's not being lost. It's not being lazy. Your spirit is saying, I cannot, I refuse, I can't go back to who I was. I'm not fully sure of who I'm becoming yet, but I know I can't go back to that. And that in-between space is very real. It's uncomfortable and it's unnecessary. I follow Mel Robbins, and if you don't follow her, she's an amazing speaker, writer. She has a great testimony of how she got there. Let me tell you, everybody that I know that is real and authentic and really speaks from a place of knowledge and wisdom, been through some stuff. Their testimony is real. It's not something that they got from a book. It's a life. Oftentimes it's a shared life experience. And if you don't, so Mel Robbins, if you don't follow her, please do. She has a book called Let Them, which is a great book as well. I highly encourage you to read that. But she talks about that in-between space. That in-between space of who you know you can't be and the life that you know you want. You're in between. And this is a time that a lot of us get stuck. Because what they say the devil you know is, the devil you know is better than the devil you don't know. Well, first of all, both of them the devil, number one, both of them the devil. So you don't want to be entangled with the devil. But more importantly, you already know what's on that side of the bridge. You already know. You know that that's not fulfilling for you. You know the person you have to be to stay in that place. I know for me, there are a lot of relationships that I can't go back to, not because I don't love them, not because I don't care for them, but the person I would have to be in that relationship with them, the person that I would have to shrink to become, the things that I'd have to overlook about myself. Yeah, I can't. I can't do it. And so that's that in-between space. It's like a bridge, like Mel Robbins says. And so you're in that in-between, you're in the middle of the bridge. And it takes a lot. It takes pain to go back to the other side. It takes courage to go across. So why old patterns don't fit you? You cannot build a peaceful life by entertaining chaos. Talked about that last week. You cannot build a confident life while repeating unsecure habits. You cannot build a structured life while entertaining and living in emotional clutter. You cannot lead a healed life while holding on to those wounded patterns. Because old patterns cannot support the weight of that new life. They will collapse under pressure. So when you think about using again that metaphor of the bridge of that's where, I know what that is and I'm going to the other side. The bridge can sustain a heavier weight. I have this saying that, you have to check out your luggage. And sometimes when we travel, we take more stuff than we need. And then we're cluttered down with all this excess luggage. And you begin to ask yourself, well, what am I packing? It's cool to have options. I get that. But do I really need everything I'm taking for this trip? It's no different asking yourself, do I really need everything in these suitcases for this journey? Sometimes you've got to leave things behind because they one, the outfit don't fit no more, so I don't know why you're packing it. But moreover, that suitcase, it was never really meant for travel. You just keep taping it up and hoping it'll work and keep, eventually, you hope it'll hold. But it was never meant for travel. Sometimes in our lives, we've got people, situations, they're not supposed to go with us. They're comfortable. They're convenient. And I'm not just talking about people. I'm talking about thought processes. I'm talking about patterns. It's so easy. And I am an emotional eater. It is so easy to go in the kitchen and fix a sandwich when I'm tired instead of telling my body we need to rest. Anybody else to do that? It is so easy to go out and spend money when I feel empty and lonely instead of sitting in it and going, I'm bored, or I'm lonely, or I want some attention, so let me go and do something crazy to get some attention instead of sitting in it and go, what am I really missing right now? What is my spirit really asking for? That is so uncomfortable because it requires a deeper level of conversation. It requires us to let go of those old patterns, embrace the new. So again, your new life can't support the pressure of that all that baggage. Some stuff you just got to leave it where it is. You have to ask yourself, is this garment, person, situation, emotion worth holding on to? And that's where forgiveness comes in. I may talk about this later, but one of the reasons why we keep holding on to old patterns is because we have this deep level of unforgiveness. Well, you don't know what I've been through. You don't know what they said to me. You don't know what was done to me. Listen, forgiveness is never, ever for the other person. Forgiveness is for you. And a lot of us can't walk into the new because what we're really holding on to is unresolved anger and unforgiveness. If I forgive that person, then I'm saying what they did to me, what happened, the lie they told, the cheating they did, the whatever, I'm saying I'm okay with it. No, that's not what you're saying. You're saying even despite the hurt, even despite the things that were done and said to me, I am choosing to be whole and healed. And through that act of being whole and healed, I forgive you. Because that unforgiveness doesn't help me move on. That unforgiveness keeps me in chaos. That unforgiveness keeps me holding on to a version of myself that is no longer suitable. Because sometimes the luggage you need to let go of is you. Sometimes what's holding you back ain't somebody else, it's you. Forgive and move on. And so maybe you're like me right now, and you've outgrown that old version of yourself, or the versions, because I believe as you grow, you let go of old stuff, you get new skin, tougher skin, I hope. But you've outgrown that version of yourself, but the new version hasn't fully revealed the rhythm of itself yet. You're not stuck, you're transitioning. You're not just shedding, you're clearing space. And I want to be clear about something. Oh, I hit my light. Me and this light. Okay, me and this light. I love being live because what it does is you get to see all the errors and everything else that I'm making along the way. Okay, bump this light. So anyway, what you're transitioning, you're making that adjustment. You're shedding old ways, and that's just not emotional, that's mental, that's spiritual, that's physical. Sometimes you just have to let go of the things that are holding you back. You're clearing space for something new. As I mentioned, we want to go out and buy new clothes, but you got a closet full of clothes that you haven't worn that outfit in a year and a half. Why are you going out and buying new clothes when you got clothes in your closet that you haven't worn in 2 years? Get rid of it. Donate it. Give it away. Purge. Then you wonder how come your closet don't work, or you got stuff everywhere. You can't find your shoes that you're looking for because you bought a pair of shoes 3 years ago, and then you realize you bought the same pair of red shoes that you had before. Because your life is chaotic, and you just keep replacing things that you need to get rid of. If you're looking for an activity to help you purge, really get into that purge mindset, clean your closet. Go in there and find things that you haven't worn the last 6 months and give them away. That is one way of breaking old patterns. I am not going to hold on to things that no longer suit me or that I haven't even looked at in a year and a half. Go through your cell phone and delete people you don't call. If I haven't talked to them in the last year and a half, I'm sure that I'm not going to talk to them anytime soon. Delete the number. Now, if it's somebody that you need to hold on to or things like that, that's one thing. But if you know for a fact this was somebody you worked with 4 jobs ago and you haven't talked to them and you probably won't, why are they in your phone? Delete them. Clear space. Clear the space. And that now what feeling isn't a problem, it's a sign that you're ready for alignment. So how do we shift this to a practical, what needs to change? Well, I just talked about some of those things, clear out your phone, declutter your closet. If you're not, don't hold on to numbers, clean out that desk, clean out your desk drawer. But this is where the practical work comes in. Because wanting a new life is spiritual, but building a new life is practical. So number 1, you can't keep the same habits. What worked for you 6 months ago may not be a good habit to have right now. Ask yourself, is this habit taking me where I want to go? Is getting up every morning and eating 6 pancakes and 4 scrambled eggs, is that taking me toward the goal of wanting to lose weight and be a healthy version of myself? Is getting up every morning and starting my day off groaning and moaning and being mad about what didn't happen and immediately picking up the phone and looking and scrolling through Facebook instead of taking a moment to sit in meditation and prayer to whomever you pray? Is that a habit that's really working for you? You can't keep the same boundaries. You've allowed people have access to you that have absolutely zero business having access to you. Zero, none, zippo. Be very mindful about the boundaries. What is this person's situation bringing into my life? Is this a healthy boundary? Does this person respect my boundaries? Good morning, Yolanda. Happy Friday to you. Does this person respect my boundaries? Do they even have boundaries? Because I know people that don't have boundaries. They just pop up whenever they feel like it, call you out the blue. You're like, what is this? That's where that's why deleting that number comes into play. Because if you're like me, I don't answer numbers I don't know. And so if I hadn't talked to you and all of a sudden now you're popping up, I'd be like, who is this? I probably won't answer the phone. You can't keep the same emotional responses. I don't know about y'all, but it is very fatiguing to just keep having the same emotional response every time I get disappointed, every time something doesn't go my way, every time somebody doesn't hurt my feelings, every time something moves differently. I've got the same emotional response. Girl, grow up. I find myself saying that to myself a lot. Girl, if you don't stop, everything does not require an emotional response from you. Every comment doesn't need a reply. Every side eye that you get doesn't need to be addressed. Every lack of respect or every time somebody does something that you feel like may not be in their best benefit doesn't require an emotional response from you. Let them, as Mel Robbins say, let them. Okay, all right, that's good for you. Yay. Doesn't require it, because ultimately people can do things to you, but your emotional response is your choice. It's easy to say, well, you made me. No, you didn't. I chose to respond that way. I chose to respond in anger. I chose to respond that way. Once I realized that ultimately I am in control of my emotions, you can do things to me. I can't change what you did, but I dang sure can control how I respond to it. Then I gain responsibility for myself. And a lot of times, I'm going to say something, if I step on some toes, say ouch. A lot of times we don't want to have that emotional responsibility. It's easier to say, this is what someone did to me. Look at what you've done. Look at how your behaviors impact me, instead of you taking the emotional responsibility and saying, I'm in control of it. I can't change what you did, but I'm in control of how I respond to it. That's work. That's work. That's a level of emotional intelligence. And it's very, very easy to just stay stuck. You can't keep the same relationships that drained you. Listen, if a relationship is draining you, I don't care how much you love them. I don't care how much you enjoy their company. Yeah, dog, that's just not going to work. What's in your cup is for you. The overflow is for everybody else. And if your cup stays continuously empty, you can't do, give, or be for anybody else. Repeat after me. What's in the cup is for me. The overflow is for everybody else. If you don't have any overflow, that means you can't give it. You cannot give what you do not have. And so if a relationship is draining you, if a relationship is not giving you fulfillment, if a relationship makes you question your own value, self-worth, because every time you look up, the person is making you feel like, well, what am I? How come you don't value me? Yeah, let that relationship go. Let it go. Let it go. Be Elsa. Let it go. Yeah, in my white hair. So today I want you to sit with this. What old patterns is blocking me from the life I'm asking for? What is stopping me on that bridge? I know what's behind me, and I know where I want to go. What about that old life is so appealing? Because sometimes, and I just thought about it, sometimes you got to be like the children of Israel. When they were stuck on one side, we all know the story. They were stuck on one side, the Red Sea ahead of them. The Lord split the Red Sea. Sometimes you need to pick up your stuff and run. You just need to run. The water's going to be parted for a little while. You need to run. You need to sprint across to the other side, to your promised land. When the doors open and it's time to go, leave. Sprint. Run. Get there. And then ask yourself, what new pattern, choice, can I choose today that aligns to where I'm going? Now, I want to use this analogy again. Sometimes the Red Sea parts, here's an opportunity, that new job, that new relationship, that new you, that new growth, your business, whatever. And you've got to get to the other side. But you're so busy dragging everything that you had from your captivity. Thank you, Lord. You're too busy dragging everything that you've had from your captivity, trying to get to your promised land. Girl, let that stuff go. Because if you believe in yourself and you believe in your higher power, everything that you're holding on to is going to be provided for you in your promised land. I'm going to pinch myself. Everything, you're holding on to stuff and you're going into a new land. If you truly believe this is where you're supposed to go, everything you need, everything that's going to supply, everything you need is going to be on that side. Leave that stuff over there. Girl, that was for me. So anyway, let it go. Move to the other side. Ask yourself, what patterns can I choose today that aligns to where I'm going? You're not stuck. You're not lazy. You're not behind. You're becoming. You're growing and becoming to whom your higher power, I call him God Jesus, has birthed in you from the beginning to become. And that requires letting go of what no longer fits. I am Tracy Patton, and this is Transformation with Tracy. Jump in the chat and let me know what you think about letting go of old patterns and walking into your new. And I'm just going to share this with y'all. I've held on to it for a while, but I'm going to share it with y'all why I'm stuck. I'm stuck because I'm in that place of my writing I've been writing and really purging myself. And while I love my books, it's time to take it up to another level. It's time for me to have an editor. It's time for me to really get focused on my life, my journey. I'll be 60 in July, Lord willing. And I have to think about how I want to spend the last chapters of my life. And if it doesn't fit the narrative where I want to be, where I feel like emotionally, spiritually is going on in my life, I know these folks ain't coming to cut this grass, then I need to let that go. And so I'm in this season of, I've built this level of comfortability, but I really need to walk into my new season. And that means I've got to let go of some of the things that I felt like were support systems. So I turned in my resignation at my job at Hinge Health. Been there 3 years. But it no longer fit. And it's comfortable there. I got benefits. I got all this wonderful things. I get to coach. I've met some wonderful people. But it's time. It's time. It's time for me to walk into the season that I know that God is leading me into. Is it scary? Yes. Am I going to have health insurance? Not right now. I got to find some. But I can't let the fear of holding on to something that no longer fits where I'm going keep me there. And so I've got to walk boldly into that season. And God revealed to me, I got to trust that everything I'm letting go of, God is going to provide for me in my new season. So I do ask that you continue to pray for me as I make that transition. And then I also want to read from one of my books. It's called The Clearing, The Soul's Journey Through, and I accidentally took the piece of paper out. So let me find where I was reading, and I'm going to get to it. Okay, this is called The Roles I've Outgrown. We learn to wear our roles like armor: the fixer, the strong one, the peacekeeper, the overachiever, the one who never needed help. Sometimes we choose them, but often they're handed to us before we know who we really are. Assigned by family, shaped by culture, pressed by circumstances. We didn't ask to be the responsible one, the emotional anchor, the ones who holds it all together. We didn't understand what all that meant. Only that it made others feel safe. Only that it kept the peace, and only that it earned us approval. So we wore it, not because it fit, but because it was expected. And sometimes we wore it for so long, we forgot to mention it was never fit to our true skin. But now we remember, and we release, and we return to the person we need to be. Not who we needed to be, but who we truly, truly are. The Clearing. And my last one, because now the people here with the grace, is I want to give this a special shout out to Renee Spencer. On next Thursday, she goes into the Hillsborough Hall of Fame. I know I talked about it before, so all my Hillsborough alumni, anyone in the South Nashville community, come on y'all, let's get out there and support Renee. I'll put the flyer in the chat. Renee, I'm so proud of you. And then I hope in my own little tiny, tiny, tiny way, as part of being the Twin Towers, that I got to be part of the legacy that led you to the Hall of Fame. When I say I'm proud of you, sister, I am proud of you. I hope that all of us will come out and support her and let her know how much she means, not only to Hillsborough alumni, but to South Nashville. Renee Spencer has been a caregiver. She has been, she supports, she volunteers, she pours her heart out to everybody. Let's pour our heart out to Renee. I love you more, Renee. I want everybody to have a great Friday, a great weekend, and remember, you were destined for so much more than this. Step out, trust God, trust the process. Know that everything you need, you already have. I hope everybody has a great week. I'll see y'all next time. Bye.